unmarried woman is excluded from the ambit of availing surrogacy services in India. That would mean that an Indian woman who is a widow or a divorcee between the age group of 35 to 45 years and who intends to avail surrogacy cannot do so. It is, of course, a big move from the Supreme Court, where the top court has issued a notice to the centre seeking their reply to a plea challenging the existing rules of surrogacy in India. According to the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021, an unmarried woman who is excluded from the ambit of availing surrogacy services in India, this would mean that an Indian woman who is a widow or a divorcee between the age group of 35 to 45 years and who intends to avail surrogacy cannot do so. My colleague Harish is joining me on the phone line right now. Harish, this is very significant as far as the top court seeking a reply from the centre is concerned, because the centre wanted a reply to a plea that challenging the existing rules of surrogacy in India. And according to the Surrogacy Regulation Act 2021, unmarried women is excluded from the ambit of availing surrogacy services. What do we know about it? What is going to be the government's response so far on this?
Yes, in fact, a very big development as far as the debate over surrogacy laws is concerned. The Supreme Court has sought centre's response within 4 weeks on a plea challenging the provisions of the Surrogacy Act 2021 to the extent that it excludes unmarried women from the ambit of the definition of intending woman. The term includes Indian woman who is a widow or divorcee between the age of 35 to 45 years and who intends to avail of surrogacy. Remember, a bench issued notice on the plea by an unmarried woman. In this case, the petitioner was an unmarried woman in her late 30s. The order, uploaded early morning today, said, issue notice on the prayer for interim relief as well as on the writ petition. Let a copy be made available to the office of Aishwarya Bhatti, learned Additional Solicitor General of India, who is appearing in the case. So Supreme Court has taken this issue very seriously. This appeal by an unmarried woman who intends to who intends to make avail of this surrogacy. The order, in fact, the woman in her plea had argued that restraints on unmarried or single women to access the benefits of surrogacy fall foul of Article 14, that is, right to equality. It's a clear violation of right to equality. The petition also said that such a provision impinges on a woman's right to exercise autonomy and control over her reproductive decisions. Very, very significant arguments which will be examined by the Supreme Court after 4 weeks. The petition goes on to say the legislature has failed to incorporate the recommendations given by the Law Commission in its report titled Need for Legislation to Regulate Assisted Reproductive Technology Clinics, as well as rights and obligations of parties to a surrogacy. The report recognizes the right of an unmarried woman to be an intending mother. So the biggest takeaway is that Supreme Court has recognized there is a problem here and has issued notice to the centre and asked is the response on the plea challenging the provisions of Surrogacy Act 2021 to the extent it excludes unmarried women from the ambit of the definition of intending woman. Back to you.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, Harish, with all those details, and we shall wait for the reply from the centre's end as to what is the rationale behind seeking to challenge the existing rules of surrogacy in India, which is going to deprive single women, whether they are unmarried, divorcee or a widow, when it comes to surrogacy.